What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. Today AOOCCI have sent me their C6 Series Pro kind of all-encompassing dash cam, camera, tyre pressure monitoring system. Now, could this be a serious contender for CHIGEE? Because CHIGEE have been on the market now for well over 12, kind of 18 months in the UK, quite heavy. They seem to do the same kind of thing. The price point is massively different. CHIGEE, for all the bits and bobs, you're probably looking anywhere between £400 and £550. The C6 Pro, £180. So let's have a look, see what we get, and install it on the GSA. So we've got two packages. Looking at the mounting hardware quickly. Tools, washers, bits and bobs. This one here is the kind of anti-theft bar. And we've then got your standard handlebar mount. This one will be for the mirror, and then obviously this will go onto the back of the unit. First thing we're going to come across then is the screen itself. See what that's in there. The screen is a good size, I think it's like a 6.25 inch. So far, build quality seems alright for the kind of price point. Nice to see it does have the GPS kind of unit attached to the back of the screen. One of the other screens I've done in the past had a separate GPS unit we get to mount somewhere else on the bike. Couldn't be too close to the cameras or the unit, and it was a faff, didn't always pick up the signal. Having the GPS on top of the screen means it's always going to be pointing up to the sky and hopefully get the best signal possible. User manual. There's going to be your two tyre pressure monitoring systems, something really helpful on a bike if you don't have it. I do have it on the GSA, but I shall still install them for the review. Extra mounting hardware, one of the cameras, more mounting bits, second camera, remote. It is quite a bit of a chunky remote. Sun hood, camera power cables. Now, what I do like with this system is it gives you two different powering options. So we've got the standard USB option. Again, the GSA, I've got a USB point at the front of the bike, so I can just use that. But if you don't have a USB, so Zoe's MT-07 doesn't have a USB port, you can then use this. This will go straight to the battery. Now, one thing you need to be mindful of, if this goes straight on the battery, it will always be live because there's nothing kind of shutting the power off. If you've not got the skills to connect this to an accessory cable on the bike, I highly recommend picking up a Thunderbox. I'll leave a link in the description box below for the video and the unit itself. It makes installing electronics and accessories so easy. You connect it to it, and then the Thunderbox is kind of the brain, which then gives it power when the bike's turned on and takes the power away when the bike's turned off. Otherwise, it's always going to be live. And that's nice to see. They've actually included a 64 gig memory card as well. A lot of times you don't see them in giving you one of these with the kit. That's the full kit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install the screen onto the bike, and then we'll place the cameras around and then do some cable management. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to store these four little grommets into each of the corners. From there, install the back mounting plate using the 4 screws. So the box didn't actually come with any instructions, and you look online and there's guides that tell you what come with the box and all the bits and bobs, but not actually what goes where. So I'm trying to do a bit of a process of elimination. Now, this is the remote. Obviously that is going to go around the handlebar or something. These spaces here, I don't know if you can tell, they've got kind of like little grooves, like channels, like tracks, that's more like it. Those tracks fit nicely in those tracks there. So these spaces fit and seat properly in them. However, when you come over to the unit, the mounting brackets that's going to hold the unit onto the handlebar, obviously it's got your typical shape, but that's going to be metal on metal. So ideally you want something in between it to kind of space it out. Now, these channels, where is it? Do not fit in those channels. Now, the only thing that I can think are these tiny little kind of rubber spaces that they've got given you to put in between each half. Now that's great, but the depth and kind of diameter of these half shapes on the handlebar of the GSA these handlebars are really thick, and they kind of go thin, they get bigger, they get wider here, and then they get the fattest part down here. So that half shape moon cut out would struggle, really hard to see, but just see how it kind of, it struggles to fill the gap because that shape is too small. Hence why these ones on the remote are big, and they give you spaces so you can accommodate for different size handlebars or mounts, wherever you're going to put it. So it's taken me a little bit of time trying to work out what I'm going to do, and then actually I realised I've got my TomTom mount on the bike. I've just taken it off, but my TomTom mount goes onto the bracket here and is actually a round mount already, and the ball joint on the unit, the C6, fits into the round mount. So actually I just took the TomTom one off and I'm installing there, so I'm not going to put on the handlebars, it's going to stay there. So after all that faffing of trying to work out where I was going to mount it, didn't need to. It would just be nice if there was proper installation instructions rather than a guessing game. Kind of see, I've tested quite a lot of kit from the Chinese market. A lot of these type of screens, and the screens with the dash cams, etc. And the installation instructions are so poor, or like this one, just non-existent. It's frustrating. Like, it's not hard, surely, to get someone to write a set of proper, full English instructions. Sometimes with the instructions that do come with these units, they've been translated, so they're not 100% clear, and you are trying to kind of piece together what it is they want you to do. They could do better. For now, I'm just going to test and adjust to put the remote up here. And then if I don't like it there later on, I'll move it. As you can see, I kind of angled it with the arm itself, and then later on I'm just going to cable manage this down, some cable ties into the back of the unit. Looking at the bolts, I think potentially I've used the wrong one for the remote, but again, when there's no instructions, it makes it pretty difficult. Sometimes when you look at the cameras, you'll have a 2.7 and a 1080 at the front, depending on actually what they've done. This time they're both 1080, so there is no markings for front and rear, so you can just pick one up and install it. So the mounting hardware for the cameras are just kind of like plastic bases, plastic ring to kind of pinch it in place, and then the old 3mm tape to go on the bottom. They have provided holes on either side, so you can cable tie it down if you want. Now for me on the GSA, I've got a nice flat surface there, I could mount it there. I've got the guard concept, there is the kind of your typical GoPro action mount there. The camera mounts don't actually fit in there, too big. But what I'm going to do is I've got this kind of like nice flat spot here, which I'm just going to cable tie onto there. Seems pretty straight, but what I'll do, I'll put this other one on. I won't put it on too tight, so if I need to test and adjust it later on, I can. And then I'll take some cable ties out with me and the tools to adjust the cameras whilst I'm on my first ride. And then simply the cables are just gonna slide through the back. For the rear, I was gonna cable tie it. I've used the 3M tape before, put it on the light, and it's left a nice little bit of residue. But what I am gonna do is mount it underneath my base plate. Got some isopropyl. I'll clean up the area because it is bloody dirty under there. If you are going to put something with 3mm tape, always clean the area first. Okay, so hopefully the cables from the back of the unit are labelled. Not only are they labelled, but the two heads are colour coded. So the remote control are both are red. Cable ties are your friend in this scenario. Front camera, yellow. As usual, a 40-foot extension cable for the rear camera to the front. Reality is you could probably almost cut that in half. Last cable to install then is going to be the power cable. As I said, I'm using the USB power from the front of the bike. You can definitely make this look prettier if you take more time with the cable management. But because this is just a review, I've just kind of loosely done it in a way that doesn't hinder the riding. So that is it installed. Front camera, still need to test and adjust the angle on that. Main unit, RAM mount onto the bracket. So a bit of cable management. It's not too bad as it is. I've got full movement on the handlebars, no wires are catching, nothing's hitting the screen. I'll test and adjust the screen when I'm riding. Got the remote on the left hand side. That's just cabling just running down here and into there. Rear camera at the minute, I've just got the cable there, tucked in under this side fairing, under the seat unit, tucked out, and then coming out under here. And then that's where I've got the camera at the minute. I forgot one more thing to install, tire pressure monitoring system. It's just screw caps, and they do have F and R on, i.e. front and rear. Cool, it's all turned on fine. First connected to the phone, Bluetooth on. Okay, so straight away found it on the Bluetooth connection, connected straight away. So far everything's working, music's working, Apple CarPlay's working, so that's good. I will, when I actually go out, connect my center headset to the whole system to make sure it all works, because sometimes with these units you can have it where you can still use your center Bluetooth connected to the system and some of them don't. So I'll test it, see if it works, and I'll let you know. We've got a little home tab, and in the home tab we've got driving, recorder, interconnect, and other bits and bobs. One thing I didn't actually do was install the SD card, so let's do that. Why didn't you remind me? Why didn't you go away, dickhead? SD card. That's what happens when you don't pay the electricity bills around here. Right, so the next day I've sorted the electricity out, we're good to go. At the end of the last day, when the camera's finished, I did install the memory card. It's literally two tiny screws underneath. Don't lose them because you don't get any replacements, like so small. If I dropped them in here, there's a lot of like stones and just gubbins on the floor, I'd struggle to find it. So yeah, just be really careful when you're installing that. When you take off that plate, there is like another kind of waterproof sealing rubber grommet for the SD card. Take that out, put the SD card in, put the rubber grommet back in, put the base plate back on. Turn the bike on, USB's plugged in, and it turns on pretty quickly. I have already connected my phone from the last time, and let's see if it automatically connects without me doing anything. Okay, so I had to press the interconnect option, which is the middle kind of screen, but actually then it just connected automatically to the phone. The next video I'm going to do will be me using it on the bike and how it performs in real life. But in the garage, obviously no gloves. The responsiveness, it's all right. There's a slight delay in the kind of lagginess, shall we say. But overall, it's not too bad. It's still usable. Everything works as you'd expect with the old Apple CarPlay. To come out of the Apple CarPlay, you've got this home button. You push that once and it takes you back to this kind of base screen. Top right hand corner, that is where the tire pressure monitoring screen is. You can click onto it to get more information. You've got for your usual settings, you've got auto brightness on the screen, you've got the volume, and then other settings, so time, speed units, so miles per hour to kilometers per hour, tire pressure, GPS information, factory reset, format the SD card. Bottom right has got replay, so I have been out already over the last couple of days. And so as soon as the unit turns on, it starts recording. So right now it is recording. There is an app as well you can connect with your phone, and you can extract the footage, the videos from this onto your phone, so you can use it for whatever you need. So you don't have to take the memory card out to be able to use the footage. So the two main buttons on the remote you're going to need is the middle one and then the one on the far left hand side. So the middle one will rotate between the Apple CarPlay screen and the cameras, and then the left hand button will switch between the front camera or the rear camera. So now you've got the front on the left, rear on the right, or you can swap it over, front on the right, rear on the left, and then back to the front. So it kind of depends. If you want to run the screen all the time, the cameras, you could have the rear camera on so you could always see what's behind you. And then if you wanted to quickly swap over to your Apple CarPlay to see the map, you can then just push the middle button and it goes back to obviously the last screen that you're on the Apple CarPlay. Also, the remote does blink on the right hand side to show that it is recording. And that's it. The unit is as simple as that. To connect your phone, like I said, it starts up straight away once you press the middle interconnect button. The touchscreen is actually pretty responsive. There's a little bit of kind of delay when you are moving around the maps, but overall, like, much better than some of the other units I have used where there's like a proper delay between moving that you kind of wait for it to catch up. Well guys, that has been the full installation of the AOOCCI C6 Pro series screen, tire pressure monitoring system and cameras. If you do want to catch the next video where I'll be taking this out, testing it, seeing how well it fares up with gloves and kind of in the sun, night time, how the cameras are, like can you see the number plates in the cars and then how they perform at night time as well, then you got to subscribe to the channel because that will be one of the next videos coming out very soon. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and there's nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.